Next, street clashes continue in Egypt. How Americans view the failure of the Super Committee from the latest Reuters Ipsos poll. And from politics to pop music, the unexpected author behind this and other love songs. Here's your morning briefing this Wednesday. Police and protesters still battling in the streets across Egypt. The death toll is now 37, according to a Reuters count, while the health ministry puts it at 32, along with 2,000 wounded. Protesters derided a deal struck between Egypt's ruling generals and mostly Islamist parties for a faster transfer to civilian rule. The head of the military council ruling the country says a civilian president will be elected in June, 6 months earlier than planned. The violence in Egypt played a role in the Republican presidential debate last night, though Pakistan stole the show. The candidates criticized U.S. policy toward Pakistan and questioned whether the country could be trusted. They also called for placing sanctions on Iran's central bank and debated immigration. No major gaffes or slip-ups this time around. A different kind of debate continues over domestic policy, what to do about mounting debt. The Super Committee charged with coming up with a plan admitted failure this week. A new Reuters Ipsos poll just out sheds some light on how Americans are viewing the issue. Ipsos U.S. Managing Director Cliff Young joins us from Washington now. Cliff, were Americans paying attention to the debt talks, and what did they think about them?
Well, first and foremost, they weren't. Only 21% of Americans were paying close attention. For most Americans, this was just beltway banter. However, when reminded what the objective of the Super Committee was, they were very, very concerned. The supermajority were very concerned. Why? Because debt is strictly and concretely linked to Americans' view of long-term competitiveness. And ultimately, no one won with this, with the result. Ultimately, it was a pox on all their houses, and it just reinforced Americans' overall cynicism about politics in Washington.
All right, Cliff, thanks for that. Debt trouble's also a consistent theme out of Europe. Let's check in with Axel Throfall in London with an update on the markets for us. Hey there, Axel.
Hi, Rhonda. Yeah, I'm really struggling to find anything positive for you this morning. Markets down across the board for a number of reasons. I'll talk about the bond auction in just a sec, but we are seeing a bit of a bottom as we slip into oversold territory, which could mean, and I say could mean, a short-term rebound. The main focus for the bears was a German bond auction, which was described by some, excuse me, as a disaster. Others would say that's a bit of an exaggeration, but it was one of Germany's worst bond sales since the launch of the euro, and of course, given the skittishness of these markets, it sparked fears that even Berlin is now getting dragged into the crisis, and that bonds are no longer a safe haven. Events seem to finally have caught up with James Murdoch. Regulatory filings show that he's resigned from the boards of the companies that publish its British newspapers, including the now defunct News of the World, which was, of course, at the centre of the phone hacking scandal. Word is, though, that he will stay as chair of News International, which houses the newspaper division. So, as one newspaper put it just now, he's resigned, sort of. Let's end on a cheerier note. Take a listen to this love song, Rhonda, and try and guess who penned it. All right, let me give you a few clues, Rhonda. A recently departed leader of a big European country, self-proclaimed ladies' man, and he used to sing on cruise ships. Any ideas?
It's got to be Berlusconi, then.
It is Berlusconi. 12 love songs on this album. The album's called True Love. It's his 4th album. That's quite a surprise. And in a rare show of timidness, this is worth noting, his name does not appear on the front of the album.
Well, what I'm impressed about, that he apparently had time to write all these love songs in between trying to write the financial situation in the country there.
Yeah, well, that didn't go so well, did it? So.
No, maybe the love songs will go better. Axel, thanks. Our wallets got a little fatter last month. Personal income rose 0.4% in October, the biggest increase in income in 7 months, and we were not rushing out to spend it, not even on love songs. Personal spending only rose 0.1%. Meantime, orders for long-lasting manufactured goods fell 0.7% last month, not as weak as economists were forecasting. But that same durable goods report also showed the biggest drop in capital goods orders since January. Those orders are viewed as a proxy for business spending. Stocks in the U.S. following Europe lower with some steep losses across the board, tracking losses for the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P. You can see S&P is already down 1%. And finally, Santa has some competition for the holidays. Pop superstar Lady Gaga opens Gaga's Workshop and unveils holiday windows at Barney's, New York. Will it be a bad romance? 25% of the sales from the Gaga items will go to her foundation focused on youth empowerment. I'm Rhonda Schaffler. This is Reuters.